Here is the Leicester Longwool that I've rescoured. It is a little bit yellow. I've got a white sheet of paper here that you can see. It's a bit yellow. So I'm going to use coffee and try and dye this to see how it looks with that. Hopefully it'll tone down the yellow a little bit. All right, we are inside, and this is some of that wool that I rescoured that seems a bit yellow. I've got some white vinegar here and some coffee I brewed, really strong coffee. So I'm going to dip this in some vinegar and then soak it in the coffee and then rinse it in vinegar again. We'll see how that turns out. This has got some vinegar and water in it. I realize this is probably being a little sloppy, just squeezing it and not rinsing it again, but we'll see what happens. Into the coffee. So I might put it on low so it doesn't go below 120. Here's my very patient assistant. Hi, buddy. Alright, so this wool has been soaking for 30 minutes in this coffee, and it didn't get below 120 degrees. So I'm going to just pull it out, drain it out a little bit, and then put it in my vinegar water. Alright, so I dyed some of this Leicester Longwool with coffee and vinegar, and I had pulled this batch from the stuff that I had scoured twice, so I pulled it from this batch over here. Alright, and here's that white piece of paper here, this comparison, and this is the undyed stuff. So it seems a bit orange. I'm not loving it. Now, as a comparison, I dyed this with coffee, but I didn't use the vinegar, and I also pulled that from the fiber that was a bit cleaner. So this is undyed, and then this is dyed with coffee, but without vinegar. So here's a side-by-side of the two batches I dyed with coffee. This is the dirtier stuff that I scoured twice, and I used coffee and vinegar. So I did vinegar at the beginning before I dyed it, and then after. Then this is just dyed with coffee, no vinegar involved at all. So coffee, this is undyed right here. Coffee with vinegar, undyed. This looks a lot more orange than this one. Pretty interesting little science experiment. Now, I think I'm still going to go ahead and dye this a dark color. I'm just a little bit worried that the yellow will come back. But anyway, I think it definitely toned down the yellow. So if I were to dye with coffee again, I don't think I would use the vinegar. So, what do you think? It is worth mentioning that this chunk here was one of the darker pieces that I pulled from that second scoured batch.